But the thing about that is, you shouldn't do that. Hello, and welcome to my little corner of the woods. I can't talk today. All right, we're back at it again with our Aboleth friend. So we've got our basic color palette here, and this is what we're going to be working with on our Aboleth friend. So we've got a lot of muted greens and some peachy colors for the insides of his mouth. And the highlights on this guy are actually yellow, which is pretty interesting. And this is the fun part. This is where we get to play. All of the line work is all just pretty boring and dry and like cut and paste, and it's lines. It's lines. You know what I'm talking about. This is also where we get into the layers. This is going to be a mess. So I'm going to create a group here, and we're going to call it color. Yes, I spell color with a U. Do not at me. Oh, yeah, yes, very funny, Drasonic. I see you. We're going to back up here, and we're going to look at this guy, and we're going to decide where we're going to start. I think I'm going to just color in his base, and that's where we're going to go from. So we're going to pick one of these medium greens here. That one. And we're just going to completely fill this in. And basically, we're just going to color like a 4-year-old. Not going to worry about the lines. Completely coloring outside of the lines intentionally, actually. Just to make sure there's no in-between spaces that we don't get. And this is going to be the base color layer. I do a base color, and then I go in with the shadows, and then I go in with the highlights. And I usually do it in that order. Right, we've got that blocked in. And now you go in with the eraser. True it up to the lines. In my announcement for the stream, I promised you guys that I would be talking about new hobbies that I have picked up recently. The first of which I want to talk about is actually not a new hobby. It's an old hobby that I have recently started doing once again, and that is knitting. My boyfriend recently said he wants a new scarf. He likes scarves. And he wants to add to his scarf collection. And I was like, I know how to knit. I'm going to make you a scarf. Let's do it. And then I realized that all of the yarn that I have is teal, which is not a color that he is especially fond of in wearing for clothing, or pink, which he wouldn't wear. Not for any particular, gender role reason, just because he doesn't like it. So that kind of nipped that idea in the bud, up until we can get out and get some new yarn. And then I was like, wait a minute. I like teal and pink. I like teal and pink together. I now have the desire to knit. Let me knit myself a scarf. So I've started doing that. And let me just tell you that if you haven't knit for several years, and all of a sudden you knit like 12 rows all at once, sitting there straight for 20 minutes in a row, your finger's gonna hurt. Your finger's gonna hurt bad. Because knitting needles, they're not that sharp, but they're sharp enough that you haven't developed any calluses. And my fingers, they're squishy. I'm a squishy boy. So it's coming out beautifully. And I love the color combination. But oh boy, does my left index finger smart. Oop, here we go. This is what I was talking about. You see that little dot right here? This little boy right here? This is why we've got our layers marked. Because I'll bet you anything this is on our line work. And we can tell by turning off the lines. Yep, and he disappears. So now I know where to go to disappear him. In other exciting news, I have a Discord now, a Discord server, where I can ping people when I have stream that I'm going to be doing, or when I've got new artwork that I haven't worked on the stream. I've got a gallery section that I can post it into. And that way, if people don't have an Instagram, or if they only use Twitch or what have you, you can join that up, or if you don't know anyone else and you meet them in the stream, you can go and hang out there. And that's exciting, except that I don't know how to moderate anything at all. And it's just me here. Everything's tiny. Once this is a YouTube video, I'm sure I'll be able to link this in the description box of everything, but as far as this being on Twitch, I don't even have like a donations page set up yet. I don't have anything. I'm just a dude sitting on his bed talking to a microphone, hoping to gods that somebody is listening and I'm not just sitting here rambling to myself. So if anything is wonky in that Discord server, somebody else is probably going to have to tell me. Like today, already one of my friends had to let me know that you guys couldn't see the chat history for my stream announcement channel and therefore could not see the stream announcement. And so I had to go in and change that. And it's just, there's going to be little stuff like that constantly with me just because I'm one 22-year-old guy trying to figure this thing out. I mean, it's only my third stream though, so guess I'll cut myself a little bit of slack. Just the tiniest little slice of slack. And you may be thinking, wow, that's kind of taking a long time, isn't it? No, this is exactly how I do this normally. Just popping around. I color way too much, and then I uncolor. Everything in my drawings is too much back and forth, and no wonder it takes me so long to do them. But the thing is, everything in my life, I do it slowly, but I do it well. So if you ever want something done, but you don't care about the deadline, I'm your guy. If you need something done quickly, you should probably ask somebody else. That's the vibe with me. It's gonna look good. It's gonna look great, but you'll need to give me a week. There was one point in college where I didn't sleep for like 6 straight days so I could finish a painting final. But the thing about that is, you shouldn't do that. Do not smite me, internet. I am not endorsing harmful activities to children. Children should not watch me. Anyway, after that complete ramble and entire breach of topic, getting back to the hobbies, which is what I was initially trying to talk about. The other one that I wanted to talk about was TFT, that I've been getting really into on League of Legends. It's team fight tactics. And all of my friends play. All of them play League. And I don't get it. I'm not into it. I don't understand it. It makes them so angry. And they just scream and rage and they're all upset about losing and being bad and whatever. And I'm not into that. I don't like that scene. It's a complicated game. I just don't have the reaction time for that. Team fight tactics, on the other hand, you don't have to know what you're doing at all. You can just completely mess around. Just pick whatever you want to pick, fluff it all up, and you can still win. And that is my kind of game, my friends. This one's going to be a long VOD, I won't shut up. These thick lines make it a lot easier because then you don't have to be quite so precise in erasing where you've colored in. There we are. And we have a base. Isn't he lovely? Isn't he beautiful? We can't start singing because copyrights are a word I have resolved myself not to say on stream. So next is going to be this top hat, and I think I'm probably just going to make that a classic sort of black. So what have you guys been up to? You all been having a good day? Hope you've been having a good day. My day started a little bit slower than I wanted it to. I was supposed to wake up at 9:30, and instead, I completely slept past my alarm, and it didn't even wake me up. Which is interesting, because I am not a heavy sleeper. Not even a little bit. I don't sleep through anything. Like the tiniest little sound, the tiniest little bit of light in the room, and I'm up. So the fact that my alarm can scream Ariana Grande in my face. Side to side specifically, by the way, if you were curious. And I didn't even... That's alarming. That means that I need to get more sleep. The problem with that is that I don't want to. I think we're gonna go for a bit of a charcoal kind of color. It's a gray or green sort of color. Yeah, so this and this here are gonna be the same color. It's not a black tie affair. He's just dapper. And there is the bow tie. And then the next layer, I think I'm gonna do the mouth. So the base for that is gonna be this sort of muted, pinky, peachy, grayish color. It's very much like skin toned, which is gross. But, you know, human beings. Flesh. Nasty. Get these shreddy boys in here. Hopefully, at the very least, the audio is much better than it was at the first stream. Some of you may know this and some of you may not, but tomorrow is actually my birthday. It is my 22nd birthday, January 20th. And for my birthday, I got a bunch of equipment to make this stream easier. Because I am chronically ill. I have a lot of back problems. I got a husband pillow, which is like a pillow with a bunch of arms. So it like hugs you and it helps you sit up. And so I'm currently sitting with that behind me. And it is sincerely one of the best presents I have ever received, honestly. Because it has so much reduced my back pain. But the other thing that I received is a new microphone, which is not attached to a headset. It's a actual microphone with a shock mount. And from what I gather, the audio from it is a whole lot clearer than anything else I've had before. And I don't think my S's are whistling anymore, which would be excellent. I really hope they're not, because trying to edit that in the first stream was yikes. So I can only imagine what it was like trying to listen to it. I think we're gonna do these teeth next. Get this in here. My lip gets stuck on my teeth. A little bit of erasing. Honestly, they're pretty clean. It's not too bad in there. He must floss. And it's time to get these good old fins colored in here. Oh. And we can do this right on the same layer as the teeth, because there's nothing else around these fins that's even close to them on this layer. And that'll just save me from having to keep track of another layer. Just realized this is actually the same color as the yarn that I'm using, so that's fun. I've been doing a lot of fiber crafts recently, actually. I don't know what it is about it, just like sewing and yarn work and things like that. They're difficult crafts, but I find them relatively relaxing most of the time, I think. I had a pattern for a mouse saved to my Google Drive for a while, a sewing pattern for one, and I made the cutest little mouse plushie. Its name is Garnet, and it has garnets for eyes, real garnets, because that's my birthstone. And it's just a little sweetheart. And there's just a sense of pride you get, I think, when you can look at something and be like, yeah, I made that out of nothing. This was squares of cotton 10 minutes ago, and then I glued it or sewed it or whatever you have done, and now it's a thing that has form and shape and is recognizable. There's just something about that that's like drugs straight to the system. Or maybe that's just me. I think there's an element of that to all creation, though. All creators kind of have that drive of just looking at the thing and being like, yeah, I did that. That came from me. Would my mom rather I have that drive for children? Possibly. But, I don't. So, fabric mice it is. Recently got back into hand sewing, actually. I used to do pretty much everything by machine. But I got a leather thimble, and I started hand sewing. And I sew that mouse, and we've got a lot of stuffed animals at my house, and whenever one of them gets any sort of a rip or a tear in them, I always take great pride in being able to sew it right back up. No problems, and no seam lines. Getting into all these crevices here. That's a tiny little crevice in there. Get back down here into this one. The longer I stare at this sort of teal color, the more pink this gray looks. It's amazing how color theory can mess with your eyesight. There's his last fin. Get a little bit of eye going on in here. It's that one. Last thing I'm gonna do for today is gonna be his mustache. Just go ahead and smooth him out a little bit. Worth it. All right. That is our flat color for our Aboleth friend, and that's our stream for today. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Goodbye for now. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Hope you have a great day. So I'm a farmer. I farm